Delegates of this inaugural 2023 ActionSA Policy Conference, members of ActionSA who are following these proceedings from home, esteemed guests, members of the media, and South Africans broadly, I greet you, Dumelang, Molweni, Sanbonani, Tobela, Goeiemiddag, good afternoon. My name is Michael Beaumont, and it is my privilege to serve as your national chairperson and to deliver this organisational report of the state of ActionSA on the 12th of September 2023. 3 years and 2 weeks ago, a new political party was born. It was born in the middle of a COVID-19 lockdown where political gatherings were prohibited. You could have sat all of the members of ActionSA around this table. I stand before the same party today and look around and see what we have become. We contested our first local government elections in 2021, contesting just 6 out of 278 municipalities across the country. Despite this, we have emerged as the 6th largest political party in South Africa. Just wait until we contest all 9 provinces next year. We won voting districts in townships. We won voting districts in suburbs. We won them in the informal settlements, and we won them in the CBDs, because this is the home that is uniting all South Africans. And since then, our growth path has continued. We have contested by-elections in Ward 96 in Tshwane, where we grew from 6 to 22%. In Johannesburg, in Ward 53, in the outskirts of Soweto, we grew from 12 to 22%. In Johannesburg, in Ward 7, in Ennerdale and Finetown, we tripled from 5 to 15%. But people know that ActionSA is strong in Gauteng. But when we stood in our first by-election in the Eastern Cape, in KwaNobuhle, and got 8% of the vote, it demonstrates that ActionSA is a threat. The same came in Polokwane, in Moleki, where we registered 9.6%, growing at the expense of the ANC and the EFF. And in the most rural parts of KwaZulu-Natal, we stood in KwaNongoma and registered 10.2% support. This party is growing, and it is growing quickly. We emerged from the 2021 elections, and we knew that we had 2 priorities. First, we had to develop strong structures on the ground across the country. And the second was that we needed to develop a unique policy offering that differentiated ActionSA from all other political parties. It began with our president putting in place 9 provincial chairpersons who have demonstrated that they are leaders who appeal to the South African people and leaders who can lead our structures on the ground. I can tell you now that ActionSA has regional structures launched in 40 out of the 52 districts of our country and 8 out of the 8 metros of our country. We have 225,000 members of this party that once sat around a table. And the most frightening thing for our opponents is that 1/3 of them have been signed up in the last 6 months. And because of this, we have branches in 31% of the 4,500 wards of this country. And there's something that I know that you know even better as members of our party, is that we are not yet done. Every day, structures of ActionSA go up. And every day, ActionSA is presented on more doorsteps, more street corners, and more communities of our country. But there's something that must be known about ActionSA, is that we are a new party, we are not a small party. Small parties don't have structures on the ground, they exist only on Facebook and Twitter. But if a branch is our distribution network that is going to deliver our message, our policies are our product that must be delivered to the doorsteps of South Africans. And that is why we are here today, because we knew we needed policy solutions that were going to differentiate ActionSA from all other parties. South Africans get bored when you talk about party policies because party policies have never spoken to them. That is what we need to fix over the next 3 days here. We knew that we had to produce solutions that were practical and workable solutions to the South African people. And that is why we began a policy process 8 months ago. It had 3 phases. The first phase was an engagement with the South African people. You will know our roots in the people's dialogue. We go back and we consult the South African people, because if political party policies do not serve their hopes and their dreams and their ambitions, what is the point of that policy? We then began a phase of engaging professional and expert panels across South Africa, because we never wanted South Africans to have policies written by politicians who had never started a business, never educated a child, and never healed a sick patient. That is why we spoke to the doctors and the nurses and the teachers and the principals and the policemen and women and the prosecutors and the judges, because they know how to fix our country. And because of this, ActionSA's policy proposals that we will debate here will be the most practical and evidence-led policies in the opposition environment. And then we began the inter-provincial policy panels led by members of our Senate and represented by delegates of every province. And this was crucial, because policies will not succeed unless they are informed by the structures of our party. The structures who work in the communities and know the issues that affect those communities. Their voice was critical to grounding our policies in the needs of South Africans. ActionSA has resolved that we will run a positive election campaign in 2024. We will focus on the South African people. We will focus on the problems that they are confronted with, and we will focus on the solutions that are needed to those problems. South Africans have grown tired of political parties who talk about other political parties. That is why in a country with 42% unemployment and some of the highest violent crime rates in the world, 27 million people have stopped voting. We need to change that. I stand before you today to tell you, in the hundreds of pages of policies that you have on your desk and that we will debate over the next 3 days, there is no reference at all to the letters A, N, C. That is because South Africans know what problems they are confronted with. They know who is responsible for producing those problems over the last 29 years. They do not need us to tell them what they already know. South Africans want solutions to the problems they face. They want hope, and that is why we are called ActionSA. And as I conclude, I would fail in my duties if I did not pay tribute to the hard-working members and volunteers of ActionSA. Some of them are in this room, and many of them are not, and they are relying on us to represent their wishes. A party is nothing without its supporters, and a party cannot have supporters unless it has dedicated teams of volunteers on the ground who take ActionSA's offer to the doorsteps and street corners of South Africa. Today, at this podium, I honour the hard-working, freedom-loving patriots who volunteer to grow ActionSA one conversation at a time across the villages and cities, the townships and the suburbs. I thank you, and I lay all of our achievements at your feet. Thank you.
Mom.